Peace and blessings. I just want to talk a little bit more about spiritual warfare, spiritual enlightenment, which I usually do on my channel, for my content. I just want to talk a little bit more about, the wilderness stage, your Job, like, parallel, a spiritual a walkthrough, that you're going through. I'm currently in it, so I can attest. It is a period in which the devil has to, throw things at you, that parallel Job, parallels Joseph, Moses, even Jesus the Christ, a lot of things in the Bible. Excuse me, a lot of things in the Bible, mirror what you're going to go through. In the Bible it says, Jesus told the apostles, you'll be hated just like I was. Just paraphrase. I'll leave that scripture below in the description. So you'll be hated. Your family will shun you, your environment, your social circles, a lot of things. So you have to realize it. This is your time for the devil to throw things at you to get you to curse God, literally. That is the agenda. That is the, main objective, for you in your wilderness period. But you have to realize, God and understands this, he overstands this, and he carries you. Me myself, I have to give discernment, so I see it. God's a touch on my life. Even in this tribulation I'm going through. Currently in every tribulation I've went through, God has always carried me. Even before I was spiritually enlightened. I've been spiritually enlightened for maybe like 6 months now. It's fairly new to me, but God's touch on my life it's never been new. It's been always prevalent. It's been always there. You cannot revert, to your sinful ways. The devil will devour you like a roaring lion. Excuse me. Job, and God is a very great, spiritual parallel, a good analogy to think about and to study, when you're in your wilderness stage. It is one of the best ones, that I can think of offhand. Job was a man who was rich. He had everything in abundance, and the devil, was walking to and fro on the earth, and seek to test God like he always does, to pervert the ways of God, the biblical order, a lot of things, the devil does is of, to shove his middle finger in God's face, through humans, literally. And Job, was a man who was rich. He had everything. He was very spiritual, though. He was a very spiritual, God-loving, God-fearing man. And the devil seek to test God, like he usually does. Like his whole existence has been about, since he's been cast out, from heavenly paradise. And Job, everything was taken away from him. But he never cursed God. He just realized, that it's the devil. You have to realize, God doesn't punish us. People don't realize that because they aren't spiritually enlightened. But when you're in the wilderness stage, and if you ever, get a second thought, it's God. God is loving. He's all loving. God is the literal embodiment of light. The opposite of light is dark, and that is the devil. That is demons. That is evil. God doesn't never punish us. Anything we go through is for God, to bless us, in the end. But God cannot, in Greek mythology, the demigods, this is very pagan, but it's just an analogy. The demigods of Greek mythology, the sons and daughters of the Greek gods on Mount Olympus, sometimes they bless them with gifts, swords, helmets, whatever, they might need in their quest. It's an analogy. God will bless you with things you need on your quest, but he cannot, carry you through the whole journey. That'd be very selfish of God to, handpick, one chosen, one lover, of his, to, just, bless the whole way. That'll be very selfish, and it will teach people nothing. Spiritually, it will teach the devil nothing. You have to fool the devil, make fun of the devil the same way he does with God, by your walk with God. That is your purpose, that is your destiny. That is what I'm going through right now. And you was chosen, if you've just been activated. Me, myself, I was activated in the light, years ago, but I just realized, what it was. Currently, 6 months ago, I thought, COVID hit and, people just lost their mind. I was the last one left, on earth, with the same brain. literally. So, but I just realized, just demonic, world we live in now. Finally kind of get it. So yeah, just not to get off track. But Job is a very good, a Bible verse, a Bible story to study, to parallel, to correlate with your life. This is what you're gonna go through in your wilderness period. But you have to realize that you're at your tail end of your demonic attacks. The devil will never stop ceasing to corrupt you, but attacking you so heavily, so prevalently, so furiously, is what the wilderness stage is for to end. You have to realize it's not God cursing you. That's what the devil wants you to believe. It is not you doing the wrong thing, because if you were doing the wrong thing, the devil wouldn't bother you. The devil doesn't bother none of his agents. He, people under demonic strongholds or full demons. He doesn't bother. He leaves them alone because they are doing exactly what he wants them to do. Loving their folly. And he will never bother them. He's only gonna bother people who are of the light. So you have to realize, it's not God cursing you, it's the devil. It's the devil, attacking you. It is not God. And don't ever, falter in your love of God or your belief in Him. That's what the devil wants. The devil will send you a lot of psychological attacks. Me myself, I'm high IQ. I'm a Sigma male, so I just overstand everything, of the Matrix. It's very psychological, of the things the devil does. So me myself being a Sigma male, it kind of comes easy to me, to nullify, to observe, to analyze, to analytically break down and destroy, spiritual attacks, agendas, demonic wall. It's very easy. To me, it comes easy to me. That's why, y'all chose me. To analytically break down, a lot of things, for my brethren, my brother and sister, for now and for the time coming to be. I'm setting the spiritual blueprint, for who I am, in the future. This is just the beginning of my spiritual journey, really. But I have to, show the devil. You have to fool the devil, in correlation to when Jesus died on the crucifix. He fooled the devil. He confounded the devil. He didn't realize, the things that he threw at Jesus, would cause such a spiritual breakthrough for others. Because Jesus loved God, and I love God, not as much as Jesus, and no one can. He's God's son. But I love God, my own way, and God sees that. He always carried me. He always gonna carry you. You must realize it. Anything we go through in this physical realm, this matrix, that is horrible, that is bad, that is deemed negative. It has nothing to do with God. God is all love. God is all almighty. He's our spiritual father. It is the devil attacking you. Right now, the devil's been attacking me. A lot of spiritual, old rookie season, spiritual attacks and the agendas, don't make sense. They're all full and like dominoes. So I think I'm pretty close to my blessing, my breakthrough. I'm gonna preach this gospel. To be honest, I explained in further, in previous videos. I don't even have to explain why. I explained in many previous videos why his agendas don't work, because the devil's very foolish. He's not able to see inside your soul and your mind and your heart. Just his agents. So he understands what makes them tick, but he has to play a guessing game. With lovers of God, he cannot see in your heart, your soul, your mind. Only God can. So he plays a guessing game. And when he plays the guessing game, he doesn't realize that he's kind of blatantly showing that you're being spiritually attacked. If you have the gift of discernment, so just something you have to realize. And whatever you go through, spiritually, as it attacks in this world, it is not of God. It is of the devil. Always love God. Keep faith. As big as a mustard seed. Cloak yourself in the armor of God. And God will carry you through whatever you're going through. And peace and blessings.